Hello and welcome to an impromptu episode of World Class Bullshitters. I'm your host Jeff Hicks, and with me is Dustin McNeese.
I don't think I've ever been so mad. Oh wait, when the hemorrhoids came back. How you doing? How you doing, Jeff?
I am not well because of a topic that has come to light in the last few days, and I don't know. It's just something that makes me like something I love less and less.
No, and I have that exact same feeling. You know me. When you and the other guys would rip into the new Star Wars, I'd always be like, "Man, come on!" Because I saw it 8 times in theaters. I thought, I love this movie. I love where it's going. And then last night, I'm taking a shit reading IGN. That's the only time I read IGN. And wow, did I get hit in the gut.
Tell the listeners why, Dustin.
Well, there's this big headline, and it says Skywalker's sexuality open to interpretation. That's the words that IGN uses, and I go, excuse me, what? And so I click on the link, and then from there, it's Mark Hamill letting me down in ways he's never let me down before. You know what I'm talking about.
Yep, I do. This is just the product of today's Hollywood. It's so stupid, man. I mean, the fact that we're actually having this discussion about Luke Skywalker, it's crazy.
It's not a character in my 26 years of existence that I ever thought I would have to even have a conversation like this about it. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Me neither. I'm glad we're discussing this now instead of waiting, because I've been thinking about this a lot lately, and it's salt to the wound. You know I don't like the new Star Wars movie because it changes other things from the original trilogy that I love. But now we got just more shit that's being changed for just the sake of change. Like the first of this new trilogy is gonna be known as the one with the woman and the black guy. Now the next one's gonna be the one with the gay dude. And then whatever social cause is big in 2020, that'll be what that one's known for. It's not
Oh,
gonna
I'm
be known
sure.
for quality of films.
No, I'm sure Episode 9 is going to endorse. Poe Dameron was a pedophile the whole time, but don't worry, he's a good guy. Like, yeah, he's born that way. Can't judge.
I wouldn't put it past Lucasfilm and Disney and all those great smart people.
No, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about one. Let's get Hamill's exact quote out there so people can't go, "Oh, you guys are paraphrasing." Let me see. I have the article up here right now. He goes, "I just read online that JJ is very much open to that. You know, the idea of gay characters." He goes, "In the old days, you would get fan mail, but now fans are writing and ask all the questions. I'm bullied in school. I'm afraid to come out." Hamill continues, "They say to me, could Luke be gay? I'd say it's meant to be interpreted by the viewer. If you think Luke is gay, of course he is. You should not be ashamed of it. Judge Luke by his character, not by who he loves." Okay, one, who writes to Mark Hamill and asks,
One
hey,
who writes to Mark Hamill in general.
in general, number one. Number two, who comes out to Mark Hamill and then goes, "Hey, you know that character that you didn't create and that you just read the lines pretend to be? Is he gay?" Why would Mark Hamill think, sure, yeah, he is. You want him to be a teapot? He's a teapot. Like, I guess I don't understand what he means by if you want it that way, that's how it is.
I want Luke Skywalker to be a 12-foot tall Martian now. Do I get it my way now too? I
Now,
mean,
why do you say now? Because that's how he's always been. I mean, whatever you want.
it's so dumb because I mean, if you watch the first movie, Luke and Leia are clearly meant to be like not brother and sister, but kind of like possible romance.
Okay, because he walks in and he finally sees her for the first time. And what's the look that he gives her? Is it the look of a gay man going, "Ooh, a girl,"
Not
or is it
good.
the look of a dude that's like, "Wow, I want to fuck you"?
She's beautiful. I think are the words he says.
Yep. And then from there, when she kisses him, does he pull back because he's like, "Oh no, I'm not into this"?
No, he puts his hands behind his head and smiles at Han Solo.
Okay, so I guess I'm very confused at what point that it would be possible for him to be gay.
At no point is the right answer, Dustin. It's Star Wars wasn't a series of films that dealt with politics or social issues of the day. I mean, it's just a fantasy movie that a lot of people can relate to. And if you all of a sudden like Luke Skywalker's now gay, I don't care how progressive you are, it's gonna just change your opinion of Star Wars in general. It's like, what? Seriously? Like, they're retroactively going back and just fucking these other movies. I don't know how much shittier they can make it. Like, I almost want to play a game with you. Like, what can they do in Episode 9 to shit on it again?
Ugh. Well, like I said the pedophile thing, that might be the least of our worries. They'll make it even worse than that. No, my problem is, one, how does Mark Hamill have the authority to say something like this? Like, he didn't create the character, like I pointed out earlier. I mean, where does he get the right to say this sort of thing?
I think he's afraid. I think it's the climate we live in, or Hollywood lives in. Let's get it out there for the listeners. Hollywood is a fake fictional fucking land where people don't have real issues or problems or normal morals. I don't know what the fuck they do out there. It's a la la land. I mean, people can get away with murder and rape and all these other crimes because they're famous and rich. So they worry about the dumbest shit that average people, one, don't care about, or two, don't relate to. And this is the latter. I don't think people really can relate to this idea of maybe Luke's gay the whole time. No, he's not. It's in the movies. The proof is in the pudding. He is not a gay man.
There was not one scene ever that even gave the slightest inclination. In fact, it just made him look like a horny young guy until, of course, he became disciplined and really took being a Jedi seriously. Then he kind of abandoned all that sexual tension. But to say that okay, in some of the comments here, I went through and I've read hundreds of these fucking things, and you got the people like us with brains in their heads and not in their asses saying, hey, did you guys watch the old movies? Because he clearly was into Leia before he found out she was his sister, blah, blah, blah. But you get some people going, well, there's a lot of cases where people are attracted to girls when they're younger, but when they get older, they realize they're into boys. And I'm thinking, I thought, when the whole gay thing became a big issue, I thought the logic was you're born that way, right?
That's
but now they're throwing that away and they're going, well, no, at some point in your life, you can just choose to be into something else, and maybe that's what Luke did.
Man, like I told you earlier, the fact that this is a real conversation is just, it's making me scratch my head right now. I'm so...
Because we're not supposed to do podcasts till Thursday. It's Monday, 3 o'clock. I was taking a nap. My son's home from school sick. And this was important enough that we had to get on here and remind people there is no fucking way that Luke Skywalker is gay. Just watch the goddamn movies.
Not in the slightest bit. Not in the slightest bit.
And I'm going to take that statement back because I'm almost going to tell you not to watch the movies anymore. Don't endorse Lucasfilm. Don't endorse Disney. Don't give them any more time or money, because if they're going to keep shitting on this beautiful thing called Star Wars, then I say we wash our hands clean of it.
I'll tell you for the first time on air, I haven't been able to watch anything Star Wars related. Like I said, you love Episode 7. I hate it. But I can't do anything Star Wars related anymore. I mean, I'm on the verge of being done completely. And this is just like kicking me when I'm down with this Episode 8 shit. It's like, oh, Luke might be a gay man. Whoop-de-doo. Let's just, ruin the legacy of a good character. Like, right. Who else can we fuck over in film? Like Dustin, let's go steal a bunch of money and buy the rights to Harry Potter and make him gay the whole time.
Yeah, no, let's have him and that little red-haired Ron guy fucking the whole time behind Hermione's back. They catch AIDS, because that's what AIDS, that's where it comes from. That's what I hear. Now, Hermione has AIDS, and fucking, it's just a big AIDS fest there. But I just want to say, they may have kicked you while you were down, but I felt like I got kicked with a roundhouse out of nowhere. Like, I was just walking through a door and wham, right in the fucking nose, because I was so high off this last film, I thought, this franchise is great. And then they do stupid shit like this, and it's, I don't know.
What purpose does it serve, though? Is it to... Here's the thing. I understand, like, I'm in business. I understand that you want to get the most people to buy your product or see your product. You just want the most eyes on you in a positive way. So I can understand if you're trying to expand your market, but really, it almost alienates your market. Because here's the thing that I don't like, but I can see, if people want to project themselves onto these characters, like, you're a kid growing up in the 70s and 80s, and Luke Skywalker's your hero. You're like, oh man, Luke Skywalker's so cool. And then it's like, oh, he's gay, and you're like, that wasn't Luke Skywalker. And then you're just like, it ruined something that you liked. I mean,
yeah, because what are the statistics they throw? Oh, supposedly 1 in 10 people are gay, right?
I don't look into that, but...
So 10% of the people are going to feel connected to Luke, and now you're going to lose 90% of the straight people who fucking used to connect to him? Like, I grew up wanting to be Luke Skywalker. I knew Han Solo was your guy, but Luke was mine.
I like
my little brother. First. Well, I'm sorry, what?
I just said I liked Luke first. Luke is what drew me into Star Wars, so I'm with you there.
Yeah, and my little brother, he's 11 now, but his guy was Luke Skywalker, and all of a sudden you're going to flip it and go, he was gay the whole time, if that's what you want. No.
I think by throwing in the phrase "if you want" is like a safety net almost to not piss off people that, in the words of the IGN, aren't open-minded, or what's the phrase they use? I'm looking at the comments too.
Which, by the way, fuck IGN's commenters. They're all a bunch of liberal fucking faggots.
Everything about IGN is what's wrong with the internet. I mean, I almost wish there was a website that was like a counter to IGN, where you had, like a nice, just balanced place. Because IGN's like, oh, if you're not, that's what the argument I had with Dion on last week's show that never got recorded. You can't like be, on the fence about something. You got to be either extremely liberal about everything, like, oh, I can't be a liberal dude, because I have to like this Star Wars shit the way they're changing it, or I can't like it, and that makes me a conservative asshole according to these people. It's like, what the fuck? You can't even have an honest discussion without politics and all this other shit being bastardized and thrown in your face. And this is a video game website. This is a video game website. I think it was called the Imagine Games Network, was what IGN stands for. Why the fuck, 20 years later, is this the biggest like story on IGN?
Yeah, I don't know. What I do know is that the internet is like a poison. Hollywood is a fucking poison. It takes everything that's good and enjoyable and pure and fucking just, it rapes it in a sense. And I'm almost done with it. I'm tired.
I mean, I feel you. I mean, we're in our late 20s. We're not old curmudgeonly dudes. We don't have, we weren't really, we went to college. We've had big life experiences. It's not like we're closed-minded guys, but why can't you just let movies play out traditionally? Why does everything have to be changed?
Yeah, it's the political climate here. There's a shift from like what used to be viewed as wholesome and good, and now it's like, oh, throw those out. Those are old and archaic, and you're a bad person if you don't want to think that everyone can be gay if they want, and blah blah blah. And I'm not trying to sound, whatever, but there comes a point where it's just, I'm tired of that shit being shoved down my throat, shoved down my kids' throats.
Well, now you know how I feel when people bring up the Black James Bond argument.
Speaking of which, really quick, I watched Spectre last night.
Did you like it?
I did. I liked the whole Illuminati aspect to it. That was pretty cool. New World Order and Nine Eyes and all that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of people shit on Spectre for being a bad movie. As a Bond fan, I like it a lot. I thought it was a good movie. Is it my favorite James Bond movie? No. But is it better than the other two, or the first two Daniel Craig movies? I think so.
And now do I understand this correctly? The bad guy is what eventually becomes Dr. No?
Well, no, and there's a guy named Blofeld, right? See, Spectre was in the very first James Bond movie. They actually talk about it in name only. Blofeld is the guy that Dr. Evil's based off of. He's got the scar and the weird suit and all that stuff. They're just, and each movie kind of builds up to him. So in Dr. No, they talk about him, and then in the other, and From Russia with Love, they show him, but they only show his hands. And then when you get to this movie called You Only Live Twice, they actually show him for the first time. And he's like the big Bond bad guy. He kind of sucks, but he just runs everything. He pulls all the strings.
Now, for any new listeners that this is their first exposure to Future Pop here, that's a little taste of what you can get every Thursday night on World Class Bullshitters.
Ooh, yeah. I like
that. So anything else you think we should say about this whole Luke debacle?
I will say that I think it is a mistake. It's pointless at this point in time. There's no reason. I think it'll be interesting to hear what Dion says. All joking aside, I think he'll think it's okay for some reason, because you know how he gets.
Because he's one of those all or nothing things. Because he doesn't want to sound, for even 1 second, not like he's a dirty liberal.
I mean, I really am hoping that they do this in the film, and I would love to see the fan reaction, because I think the backlash that I personally feel towards Episode 7 will be widespread if they do this in Episode 8. People are going to go, what the fuck? This is what it's come to? And then, like I said, Episode 9, we will all be shit on.
Ugh. That's all I can say about the whole thing.
Same here. But if this is your first episode, we are World Class Bullshitters, live on the Future Popcast Network every Thursday night. You can follow us on Twitter at WorldClassBS and contact us using the hashtag WCBS. You can find us on Facebook or contact us at worldclassbs@mail.com. The best mail.com.
Sorry, I figured I'd do it for Dan. Really quick, if you disagree with us, which I'm sure a lot of you will, let us know. And if you agree with us, that feeds us. Oh, that makes us feel good. Either way, if you have something to say it. We love to engage with you. Maybe you can change our minds. Maybe we can change yours. It all starts with you taking that first step.